Hi, everyone. It's Loa Fridvinson here of Activate Corporate Relations and Training, and I have the distinct pleasure of introducing you to our latest exciting Indigenous entrepreneur guest, known as DJ O Show, or Orene Askew is her name. Orene, thank you so much for being here with us today. And what I'm hoping is, you and I go back a little while, 7 years, I think, since you first walked into that class I was teaching at the Squamish Nation on marketing. And you have just gone gangbusters with starting your business. So welcome to the show. And can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing?
Thank you for having me. First things first. But I got started in 2012. Fortunate enough to be from the Squamish Nation, and they had a small business grant. So I've been training in music for a really long time. Like since I was around 13 years old, I would mix CDs for friends and talk on the radio or talk on the CDs and stuff like that. So I went to radio school when I was 25 at BCIT, the really intense 2-year program. And then I had the opportunity to apply for the grant I was just speaking about, and I got it. So I got to buy some DJ equipment. Now, the cool thing about DJing is that it's so mobile. So I just got money for a MacBook, laptop, and turntables, and I kind of got sent on my way. And it's been an uphill battle, but totally worth it. And I feel like I'm really getting the hang of it now, almost 10 years later.
Well, it does take a while. And I remember when you first started too, you had to overcome a pretty significant obstacle for any new entrepreneur just starting a business. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened with the
Yeah, for sure. It was in 2012, November 3rd, 2012. I remember it like it was yesterday. I had just actually gotten the grant in July of that year. So I was really fortunate to get a gig on Granville Street in Vancouver, which is like the DJ haven. I don't know how I got it, but I did. People are in the industry for 10 years, and I was in it for a couple of months and just talked to the right people and networked, and I got a gig at Speakeasy on Granville Street, across the street from the Roxy. And so I came home one night, and my neighbors were partying, and I was like, I just want to go home, go to sleep. I hope they don't disrupt me. So in the morning, I remember it was 8 a.m. in the morning, and my eyes just opened. They were telling me to get out of my townhouse because the neighbors had a fire and it spread to my place. So this is what I talk about in my motivational speaking as well. It's just like you have that moment where you think, or you plan it out. You plan out what you're going to grab, but that's not going through your mind at all. The only thing I thought to grab was my DJ gear, and I just ran out. Like I didn't have any socks on. And I think it happened for a reason. And I always talk about how the creator just lit a fire under me, like no pun intended. But if I really wanted to do this, I got to come out serious, like take it seriously. And, that's what has kind of led me to try to help people more in that instance as well, because I know what it feels like to go through that, to be displaced from your home for a few months and just not knowing what to do. And, I lost half of my clothes. Like some of the stuff was covered by insurance, but it's just, you can't put a price on the memories of your stuff. Right. But yeah. And that's the thing. I'm still here, and I'm still here.
resilience is incredible, and just the passion that you have for what you do, Orene, and not just because you're an amazing DJ and you've worked at all these incredibly high profile events, but you also have such a big heart, and you give back to your community and you give back to the youth. And I think that is, that's a big part of who you are, but also shows how committed you are to what you're doing and where you're going with your business and how you're able to give back through your business. So, because not only are you a DJ, but you also teach DJing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Still doing that?
Yeah. And what's interesting is I got to run the DJ school that I actually attended for a few years. So I was the lead instructor, kind of running my business as well as running their business. So that was really cool because I took everything I learned from my teachers there and kind of just kept relaying it along. And I always talk about this. It's like, as Indigenous people, we're always taught to share the knowledge and pass it down, because that's what's happened to me. So I want to try to do that for other people.
No, absolutely. And I think that you do a great job at it. And so what is it that makes you really passionate about what you're doing?
Well, it's so interesting when I connect with people, especially DJs that I've taught or students that I have that are out there in the DJ world right now. We just, like, you're talking about the love eyes. When
Uh-huh.
I meet people who have that look in their eyes and that passion for, and it's not just DJing, it's for whatever they do. It's like, okay, it's like you said, you just know that person has the potential and that they're going to go far places. So I think that's what keeps me going too. And when I get to DJ too, I get that look from people as well when they're dancing and they haven't heard a song in a long time, or it makes them so happy. And
Oh,
the fact that I have the power to do that and I get paid for that, like, there's no better job
oh, no
in the
kidding. No
world.
kidding. You make people happy and it's your job and you get paid. Like, I can't think of a better situation.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're also a very big advocate for the youth as well, right? You've done a number of events that you publicly spoke at and told your story, and you're really big in encouraging them to get educated and to go after what they want in life. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. The interesting part about my business is just, like, I feel like I started doing one thing and then it led to another. I would go and meet more. Like, I was a delegate at these conferences that I speak at now. So I was in the crowd too. And so I got to see a lot of people, Indigenous people out there in the world doing great things. Like, Adam Beach, he's acting. I think he's on, like, CSI now. And James Jones, who used to be a hoop dancer for A Tribe Called Red. And just people, I was seeing people and meeting people that I wanted to be like. So I think that's what's really important, especially for the youth right now, is for them to see somebody who looks like them in the Indigenous community, and they're doing great things. And it's mentorship and it's representation. I'm a total advocate for representation. It really does matter.
Absolutely. And Indigenous entrepreneurs are really starting to become quite a movement as well. So what do you see in terms of from that perspective? Are you seeing a lot of people in your community interested in starting and running their own businesses? Is it more the younger people, the people sort of the boomer age? Like, what are you seeing?
Well, it's really interesting time right now because my mom, she was born in 1952 and she went to residential school. So my generation is the first generation that didn't go. And then you're seeing people who are younger than me, the youth, they haven't gone at all. So you see the difference in between the boomers and the youth. And I see a lot of motivation happening. And like I said about representation, it's really important, or I take huge responsibility in showing the young people and the boomers, if this is something you want to get into, this is how you got to do it. There's no cutting corners or anything like that. But yeah, I feel like there's a big shift in the community, and it helps with courses like yours that come into our community, so our people can learn about social media and marketing and different strategies, like stuff they're not really used to.
For sure. And things that, unless you grow up surrounded by people who are business people, how do you know, right? You're not exposed
Exactly.
to it. So it's really nice, and I feel really lucky to have that opportunity. So what advice would you give to a person that is looking to start their own business? Like, maybe they have a good idea, or they're already doing something as a hobby. Like, what would you say? What advice would you give them?
Don't quit your full-time or part-time job that you already have. When I started, I had about 3 retail jobs going at the same time.
Okay.
And one of them was working for a DJ company. So it's like, if you have the means to quit your job, then by all means, but don't. I wouldn't recommend that. And, I talk to a lot of people and they're like, oh, I don't have the time for it. I'm like, well, you got to make the time, because if you don't, you're not going to get it done, right? And it's interesting with the younger generations. When my students, they want things just like that. And I just try to explain to them, like, no, it doesn't work that way.
No, it does not, especially not in being a business owner.
Yeah, and one point I talk about a lot is, I remember when I DJ'd the Vancouver Pride Parade in 2013 when I first started. And I think this is something a lot of entrepreneurs, when they're first starting, they have on their mind. They're like, okay, like, this is one of the biggest gigs I've ever played. Like, 50,000 people are going to see me.
Yeah.
I've got my banner up. I'm set.
Right.
That's not how it works.
It was that easy.
No.
There is selling, there is setting up partnerships. Yeah.
Exactly. But I think as a new entrepreneur, especially with a small business, I think that's how we think. You know, so one big client or one big contract is just going to change our lives forever. But it's no, you got to keep working at it. You got to keep up the persistent, like the maneuvers. Like you have to keep. It's a full-time job. Everything, social media, just emails with people, contracts, everything.
Well, for sure. And it is, you know, it is scary when you think about all the different things that you have, hats that you have to wear, but it's doable. You figure it out, right? But there is a level of commitment that has to be there, and has to know if they're going in, this is going to be their baby and something that they're going to be doing practically 24/7. And so
exactly.
That's why I think it's so incredible how passionate you are for the business that you're doing, because when you're passionate about something, it's okay to really devote a considerable amount of time to it because you love it.
Yeah. And that's the thing, you have to love it, because if you don't love something that much, you're not going to continue with it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And what kind of resources? You know, you mentioned the trust, and you mentioned the courses that I teach at the Nation. And what other sort of resources were you able to access, or do you know about for entrepreneurs, Indigenous entrepreneurs?
Well, what's amazing for Indigenous entrepreneurs out there is that there are these Indigenous organizations that want to give us business loans, and things I didn't even know about until I started educating myself, and people were telling me, you know, there's places you can get a business loan from, and they're like 40% forgivable. And I was like, what? I'm gonna jump all over that, you know? And one place I got a loan from was Telehealth.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah, they're not, Brian there is actually amazing. And when I tell people that, they like don't believe me. I'm like, yeah, it's the truth. It's true. Like, get your business plan together. Like,
and
call Loa.
Appreciate that plug. It does have to be like a valid business plan, right? You can't go in with a couple pieces of paper. Like
you have to. They have like guidelines and stuff, but it's doable. It's very, very helpful for me, for DJ equipment and stuff like that. And they're great. They make it like real, like a reality. It's not like it's gonna break your wallet. They work something out with you, and I'm almost done paying my loan off, and it only took like 2 years.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks.
That's great. I also noticed that they're both Donna and Brian, they're very supportive, right? They really get behind their entrepreneurs, and they want to do whatever they can to help because they want to see people be successful.
Exactly. And you need people like that who are giving out Indigenous loans or grants, because even going to like banks and stuff sometimes, like I'm actually looking for an Indigenous financial advisor. So yeah, they're great.
Very cool. Yeah, love it. And what's your vision, Orene? Where are you going to be in 2 to 5 years from now? What do you see yourself doing?
Well, something we haven't touched on, it's not really about my business. I'm actually a spokesperson, one of 2 spokespersons for Squamish Nation Council. So I'm a politician as well.
I was getting to that. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. But when you said, when you asked about my vision, it kind of made me think of that, because my term is up in December of 2021.
Right.
So right now I'm kind of just trying to plan what I'm going to do after my term on council is done. I kind of want to go a bit more full-fledged into my business, because with being a politician too, I'm networking as well and meeting a lot of people, and it's definitely 2 different worlds. When people find out, they're just like, wow, I've never even heard of that before. I'm like, yeah. One of my role models, I want to meet her, I don't know if I'll ever get to meet her, is the Prime Minister of New Zealand. She used to be a DJ as well.
Oh, really?
So yeah. So that's pretty, and she's running a whole entire country. So
wow. What's next for Osho?
I know, right? So yeah, I'm just I want to work on more speaking gigs and just more DJ gigs as well. And that's pretty much what I have planned for after I'm done. So less than 2 years.
Fantastic. So what got you into wanting to be in politics? Orene, what made you decide to want to do that? I know that your community is very near and dear to your heart, and you love to make a difference.
Well, yeah, like I was saying before, I think representation really matters. And I saw that in our community, people like me weren't being represented. And when I say people like me, I'm actually two-spirited as well. And I'm Black and I'm Indigenous and I'm a female. So that's not normal around these parts, right? So I felt like if I could be at the council table, I could talk from each of those perspectives, which I felt like weren't being talked about enough. And it's like I said, representation matters. Now that I'm at that table, I have a say in what happens. And I'm so proud of our community. We've pulled together and we're one of the First Nations in the province to have a rainbow crosswalk put in our community. But that was amazing. We just made history and the kids absolutely love it. It's in between our preschool and the Chief Joe Matthias Center. And I get notes from parents saying, the kids absolutely love the rainbow crosswalk. They're wishing that all the sidewalks were rainbow. And it melts my heart because I feel like we just haven't had a say in the community, and it's just giving hope to our two-spirited brothers and sisters and the whole spectrum. And we're in the Pride Parade every year now since I started on council. So we have a Pride committee. It's just an amazing feeling. I was actually the Grand Marshal for the Vancouver Pride Parade
last year. That's right, last year.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. Yeah, I wore big white angel wings. And I got to sit on the top of like $100,000 Audi, convertible.
Oh my
God! I got my mom with me.
Your mom, she is so
awesome.
Cute. She's like biggest cheerleader.
I know. When we're out,
all your events.
When we're out, I feel like a little kid. I'm like, just stop it, Mom. She's like, this is my own show. She's doing this. She's doing that. Oh my goodness.
And it's really, I love seeing how she is. She just beams whenever you're around. That's my girl. So cute. I love it. Your mom's great. You are also a very big advocate of being involved in giving back. Is there anything you want anybody to know about any of the stuff that's happening at the Squamish Nation? Any causes that are really near and dear to your heart?
Well, I mentioned it before, but I'm pretty much not the chair, but I'm on the Pride committee. So anything that's like two-spirited or Pride related kind of comes through us.
Okay.
Just through community fundraising, and it's so much fun because we'll take our float through our community before the Pride Parade, and it's just been so awesome to see everybody comes out of their houses and they're waving at us and they're smiling, and I'm DJing, and it's just we're like, let's start our own Pride. Like,
the energy must just be electric. Like it just yeah.
And then watching people come and help to paint the float, like these people are volunteering and they'll talk to me and they'll be like, Orene, you're just like everybody else. You deserve the same respect. And I'm just like, these are elders saying this to me, and they want to come on the float and they want to have a good time and they want to dance. And just the look of freedom and our two-spirited youth, like just seeing them dance in the Vancouver Pride Parade like nobody's watching is just like, it's amazing. And it just, our community is so helpful and so accepting. It's great.
Oh, I just got goosebumps when you said that. Thank you about the youth. That's amazing, right? Because it's what I love about you, well, many things, Orene, but you just have this special way of bringing people together and making everybody feel so incredibly special and like important. And I think that, you're in such a perfect job as a DJ to make people happy, but also to touch so many lives. And then as a politician, now you get to do the same for your community directly, and to help influence many of the changes that are positive changes that are happening. So I'm just, and I'm so proud to see, that this young DJO show that came into my class 7 years ago, and all the things that you've done, including being an BC Indigenous Business Award winner. And and you just continue to amaze me. So keep it up. Like, way to go, girl.
Thank you.
So I can't wait to see what you're going to do next. No doubt it's going to be fantastic. And I really do appreciate you being on the show today. Thank you very much. And I know that our viewers will really enjoy hearing your story, and probably from now, if they don't already know you, following your path. And and to the youth, the youth, watch what she does.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Loa.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Orene. DJO show, everyone. We'll have her back soon. Thanks, Osho.